Welcome to Live a Life. This is the new POCO F3, a new flagship killer from POCO. This phone is basically a robbery, to be honest. It has an amazing specs, a really great build quality, and a very great value. So I have to say that this is actually a complete package. But there's one little drawback that keeps a lot of people, including me, from completely committing to this phone. Wanna know what it is? Let's find out right now. Let's first talk about the specs. The POCO F3 comes with a really great specs overall. It comes with a 6.67-inch 120Hz Full HD Plus AMOLED display, a Snapdragon 870, up to 8GB of RAM, and up to 256GB of UFS 3.1 storage, and a 4520 mAh battery. And all of this comes in a starting price of $400. Let's start with the build. The POCO F3 back is mirror finished Gorilla Glass 5 that attracts a lot of fingerprints. The back has a mirror-like finish that really resembles the Mi 10T Pro and the Oppo Find X3 Pro. It is protected by Gorilla Glass 5, so we could be assured that this phone is quite sturdy. Looking at the side, you see a volume rocker and a power button that doubles as a fingerprint sensor. This is not a flat, large power button like most of the phone. It's really curved outward, just like normal power button. The fingerprint sensor is really fast, like really fast. It registers the print in an instant. Looking down, you see a dual SIM tray without an expandable storage here, a USB-C charging port, and a speaker, which is actually a stereo speaker. And yes, there is another speaker on top of the phone. You also get an IR blaster disguised as one of the speaker grills. Guess we have an imposter right here. For the display, the POCO F3 comes with a flat 1080p 120Hz AMOLED display with a peak brightness of 1300 nit, which is pretty impressive for the price. The color reproduction is really great, with a vivid and accurate color, but sometimes the videos looks oversaturated, especially to the skin tone, which is not so pleasurable. Aside from that, it's actually a really great experience watching videos on this display. Now, the 120Hz display is really good. It's buttery smooth and really responsive thanks to the 360Hz touch sampling rate. But the interesting fact is that the spec sheet and also the official website said that this phone has a 360Hz touch sampling rate. But we tested out through a software, and it turns out to be at 480Hz, just like on the Mi 11. So we can't really say which one is the right one, but there's one sure thing: the screen is super responsive. The brightness of the display is a little bit of a letdown. It is plenty bright for day-to-day use, don't get me wrong, but that 1300 nit peak brightness and the 900 nit typical doesn't appear so bright under the sun. The 800 nit on the A52 5G, however, is a lot more usable under this situation. The POCO F3 runs on a MIUI 12 for POCO, which is literally a MIUI. I'm not sure if there's any differences, but just looks and feel the same to me, but this time with more severe bugs in the dark mode. In the Xiaomi Mi 11 review that we did earlier, which you can check out in the link in the description, there's a similar bug within the dark mode, and this bug still persists in the POCO version, although you can fix these problems by turning off the dark mode for certain apps that have these problems. Although you can fix it, this shouldn't have happened in the first place. There is also a problem with notification on the MIUI. It just doesn't show up. A lot of times, it will show up hours later, which could definitely be a turn off for Xiaomi's phones. Let's hope Xiaomi sees this problem and fix it. Other than that, the MIUI has come a long way from its dark times. The overall looks and feel is pretty clean and responsive. There are less bloatwares, and some features are pretty interesting and convenient to use. But this is still far from leading OS like the iOS or the One UI from Samsung. Oh, and one thing to keep noted is that POCO F3 kills the haptic. The haptic feedback on this phone is really great. It is powerful and precise to the touch. It makes the phone feels a lot more refined compared to its price. Now, let's talk about the performance. The POCO F3 comes with a Snapdragon 870, which is actually an overclocked version of the 865 Plus, so it's technically a flagship processor. On top of that, there's 6 or 8 GB of RAM option for you to choose from. The one we have is 8 GB version, which is plenty powerful for day-to-day use or even gaming. The gaming aspect is what we should focus the most for this phone. Whatever game you want to run on this phone, you can. Even the almighty Genshin Impact. You can smoothly run this game at the highest setting, at a constant 60 FPS. But beware, the phone gets pretty hot around the camera module after around 30 minutes of gaming session. But for lighter games like League of Legends Wild Rift or the Call of Duty, this phone runs it like a piece of cake. You can get to 60 or even 120 constant FPS with a very responsive gameplay from the high touch response. Oh, and this phone has a dual speaker with a decent quality to further improve your gameplay.
Objective almost complete. Keep it up. UAV online. Hunter-killer drone deployed. UAV recon standing by. Repeat, UAV recon is standing by. Hunter-killer drone on standby. Predator missile awaiting orders.
This phone comes with a 4520 mAh battery, together with a 33 watt fast charge capability, which is pretty standard for the most part. You'll easily go through a full day of usage with a single charge, but if you game a lot, then that's a different story. Now, for the camera. The POCO F3 comes with a triple camera setup. 48 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel telemacro lens, and a 20 megapixel selfie camera. It shoots okay photos. Camera is never a strong point for POCO anyways, but it's totally usable. In good lighting, the photo came out decent with alright details and dynamic range. The overall character appears to be quite contrasty, and the color is pretty good here as well. Most of it appears true to life. However, low light photography is a whole different story. The phone really took seconds to shoot and process the photo, and it came out not that great. It is soft, lacks in details and contrast. Even turning on the night mode doesn't improve the quality that much. It is less soft with increased details and contrast, but still not great. Last video, we said that the Samsung Galaxy A52 5G has the best value for its price range. Now that I have the chance to play around with this bad boy, I started to think otherwise. The POCO F3 has the best hardware for this price, while the A52 5G packs a more humble specs. Although the A52 5G comes with a far more superior One UI, so now it's your decision to choose. You want the red pill or the blue pill? So to sum everything up, POCO has once again gone back to its very root where it shines the brightest, a flagship killer, and this phone does just that. It is a pure powerhouse for its price range and would really please all those power users out there. So if you're looking for an Android phone with emphasis on specs and value, then POCO F3 is the phone you should consider. So, if you liked the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell icon to see more great contents in the future. And if you want any reviews on any phone at all, leave a comment down below. See you guys next time. Stay safe.